Koi Jaane Na has been a journey of sorts, a long journey. It's been now, I think, 6 years that Amin first finished writing the first draft, and the struggle that he has had, I would say, has been full of highs and lows, and now I think the biggest high has been finally getting Koi Jaane Na on the floor, and an even bigger high was the fact that we are also co-producers of the film, and I can say that I think it has been as fulfilling as we hoped. It's been harder, I think, than we realized. Making a movie is like not as easy as it looks when you go into the theatre and you see a film and you come out saying it's basically good or bad and that's it. You don't think more about it than that. But the process of filmmaking, at least for me, this is the first film, obviously for me, that I've been a part of from beginning and till the end. And so it's been a huge learning experience, how a production is run, how it's managed, how a film is shot, how you manage your crew. Everything has been a very steep learning curve for both of us, I think. Even as a director, Amin he had a very good idea of what he wanted to do, but obviously once you get down to doing it, it's a different story. We both have had this dream together, in a way, you can say. We've kind of visualized it together. Amin has been the driving force behind all of that. So whatever he had written into the script, whatever he was visualizing, I would listen to and hear. And I think at the same time we were both creating visuals that were similar. So it was then a kind of teamwork for us to sort of find the locations that he had visualized, the characters that he had visualized, how he would make them come alive, from the locations to the casting to everything. We have sort of already had a very good idea of what we wanted, and I think we've been really lucky with the amount of support we've had from all of our friends, all of our family. Family, of course, but friends in particular, from the industry, from outside of the industry, in and around Panchgani, where we ended up shooting the film. Panchgani being our home, it made it easier. But all the people that we know, and I suppose half expected to help us when we needed it, they all stepped up, and we were able to kind of, I think, we've ended up with a film which is exactly what Amin had visualized. And as a story also, he has managed to kind of bring that alive. And so I think from that aspect, he's pretty satisfied with how things went and how he was able to, with all the limitations that we have, both financially and in every aspect, you could say. It's a small budget film. We had a certain amount of money that we had to create what we wanted with it, and we managed to do that. I think production-wise, the team was really very good, very helpful, because Amin and I were producers really for the first time. So we had a very strong team behind us who really sort of drove the production side of things and made sure that we were able to make the film in the budget that we had. So I think now it's not quite finished, but now when I see the product, I feel quite good. I don't feel like, of course there are places where you can always do better, but I feel we managed to create what we wanted. What we set out to do, we have achieved. And now it's just a matter of whether people like that story or not. But I think as a team, we worked well, and I hope that those that were involved with the production were also, comfortable and happy with the way things were provided for them. And I guess it's not quite there as a relief, as we're not completely finished yet, but there's a certain amount of relief that we have got things on the right track that we wanted. I think from a conceptualization process to a script to then actually getting that script alive on screen is a very difficult process. I realize now that it's not so easy. You may have a great script, but when you actually go down to getting it on screen and creating those visuals and joining up all those pieces to make that story work is really not an easy process. So I think I appreciate now much more how much work goes into really getting a good film made, or any film made for that matter. And there's lots of things that can upset the apple cart along the way, and I think that's something, those challenges every day that are thrown at you, and how you deal with them and how you take it forward and how you make sure that your film is made the way you want it to. And it's like just being nice every day, even if something's going wrong, or even if it's not quite the way you thought it would be, or just the very simple things of just making sure that you're not saying something rude or snapping at somebody, or under the pressure of the whole process of the filmmaking process. It's just really very tough. So I think that people do a fantastic job to kind of keep the spirit alive on film sets the way they do. And I think we had a really good team in that sense, and we had a lot of friendships made, and a nice energy on set, which was something I'm very thankful for.
She should fucking go down. Once she goes down, we have this set.
So I think that the star of the show for all of us was Charma on set. We had a whole process of trying to find a dog that we needed. Kunal needed a pet basically, and it was a dog. And I think when Amin wrote the film, of course he had Charma in his mind. And when we went to meet various dogs in Bombay who were up for shooting, we didn't actually find a dog that we were that happy with. They could do tricks and things, but they were very overexcited and boisterous, and we realized that they weren't really that much in command. The trainer wasn't that much in sort of control of the general behavior, although he could, catch a ball and everything. So then we kind of zeroed down on one dog, but then we got the bill, or we got the quote of how much it was going to cost. So then as a production we decided that could we use our own dog and possibly not have to spend that much of money. And I realized that Charma, we have a really obedient dog, not because we've trained him like that, but he's just that way by nature. And so we decided, okay, let's just use Charma and see how it goes. And he was absolutely amazing. He did everything that we could ask of him and more. And there was just one part which was a little bit tricky, and Amin had told me that in the film he basically gets attacked, and when he's attacked he has to lie on the floor and not move, because you think for a moment that is he alive or is he dead? So I practiced with Charma a lot at home. So the dog trainer and me got started, and I used to, with Summer and Sky, we used to basically with treats get him to lie down and be absolutely still. And we practiced quite a lot, but I didn't know whether when it came to being on set and so many other strangers around, and how he would, and of course with the actors and them also performing at the same time. But when it came to the actual shot, it was just unbelievable how he stepped up and kind of performed in that way. He was led on the floor, and Kunal was he ran up to him, was shouting, "Charma, Charma, Charma," and through the whole thing he did not move. It was like unbelievable. And when Amin said cut, I think none of us could believe that Charma was so amazing.
Charma? Charma?
For example, in the song when he was sitting on the kayaks and there was some geese in the water, so you see Charma sitting up and his ears are forward and he's really kind of alert and he just looks like amazing, So he was brilliant. I think we were really lucky, and we're blessed with a really beautiful dog. And that was one, I think, memorable experience for us having. I think it's really been a family affair, because what with us both, Amin directing and then me doing whatever job I can on production and also creatively, and then and of course Charma. So it's been quite a journey. And I think for me, one funny part was having to be Amira's body double when she was riding the scooter. Because she could ride the scooter, but the outfit that she was wearing made it slightly tricky, and there were some scenes where, you know, it was just her back. So then Amin was like, listen, you can sit on the bike, you've got a similar body type. And she wears a hoodie in the whole thing, so you know, you can't tell that it's not her. So that was also another funny experience, I would say. Production-wise, our challenges, of course, they start from the moment you start production, even in the pre-production stage. But once we got on location and you know, it was time for the first day of shoot, our challenges started immediately. Like we woke up in the morning, Summer and Sky, that's our daughters, Amin and I, they were also in the film, and Amin had an idea of what he needed them to do, and they play Amira's, the child version of Amira is Summer, and Sky is her sister. So the shooting actually started with them. We were shooting a song first of all. And so we woke up that morning, and we woke up with Summer very sick. She was vomiting in the toilet, she had a stomachache, she had fever, and it was like, I think 5:30 in the morning, and we had to be on set, and it was an early sunrise shot. I think it must have been earlier than that, I don't remember now. But it immediately, we were like, oh shit, if someone's sick, how are we going to shoot today? And so then, okay, we were dealing with that. So then you're in mum mode, you know, like how am I going to get Summer on set? And, you know, we managed that. Then we got in the car, we set off for set. We were driving through the market, and we see Santosh, who's one of the production heads. So he was standing there looking very nervous. So we stopped the car and said, is everything okay? So he said, you won't believe it, like one of the main production truck basically had got stuck in a hole. Like one of the tires had gone into a ditch because we were going up on Tableland to shoot, and that road going up was slightly uneven, and there was one place that had been dug, and in the dark, I guess the driver didn't see it. So then we were like, oh my, you know, what are we going to do? So then we rushed over to that area, and we realized that everything was in the production van, and we had to find a way of getting all that stuff on Tableland so that we could take the first shot. And all I could think was in my mind, like, we've waited so many years for this day. There is no way that we are not going to shoot this morning. So then I sent Summer and Sky up with Amin in the car, and I just started yelling and shouting at everyone. I went to my neighbours. There was opposite where the Tableland is, some friends of ours stay. So I broke into their shed. I got the shovel from their shed. I brought it over. I started digging to remove the mud so that the car could, all the other cars could pass, because once that truck had basically stopped the whole road, so no other vehicles could go up. So there was basically a very small kind of bit of road which was enough for a car to pass, but there was a whole mound of mud, and so we were digging, and everyone was very uncomfortable, like, oh, madam, you can't be doing this, you can't be doing that. So by that time I was just like, nobody could stop me from doing anything. I was just shouting at everyone. And everybody got in gear, everyone started digging, removing the mud, emptying the production truck so we could get, I called another friend of ours who has a kind of small truck. So he came at like 6 in the, whatever time it was, maybe 5 in the morning, 5:30 in the morning. We unloaded all the stuff from the production vehicle and started sending up, you know, one by one, all the stuff from the vehicle. And by the time we got up onto set with all the stuff that we needed, I got up there and I found Amin, who was basically putting up, the first shot is of the girls like camping on Tableland. So he was putting up a tent. I was like, what the hell are you doing? Nobody else knows how to put up the tent, and you're down there trying to fix the truck. So it was like, it was a comedy of errors, honestly. It was, I mean, when I look back at it now, I think, my God, that was the first day. So you can imagine how the rest of the shoot seemed fairly easy after that day, because I was like, the first day is going to be like this. Then luckily we got sorted, we got the truck out also, and we managed to take the shot. First shot came, sunrise came up, and we were all set for the first shot. And I think the day went pretty well after that. The next 3 days, Summer was still sick with fever, but she also really kind of fought through it and managed to give all the shots that her dad needed. And I think that was quite an experience, I would say, from the first day. And yeah, I think production really teaches you to think on your feet, basically. So that was something which was fun as well as challenging.